Alrighty, people, what is happening? Welcome in. Appreciate y'all for being here. We're gonna have a great start of the week stream. It is our first stream of the week, and we appreciate y'all for hanging here with us. And obviously, the big talk right now in Dynasty, if you haven't been living under a rock, is the Quinshon Judkins situation. And you know, yeah, look, there's a lot to be said on this. If you don't know, Quinshon Judkins was arrested over the weekend on charge of misdemeanor domestic violence. And little pieces we have kind of heard over the course of the last couple days, right? So we'll just say what we know, and we'll say probably how you should act in Dynasty football. So what we know is obviously that the charges were filed. And we then found out from who reported this. This was Chris Wrinkle of...
Chris Wrinkle, huh?
He works for a news station, okay? And he released some information that the call to the police was delayed by about 5 days. Whether that matters or not, we'll talk about in a second. For the victim, they called about 5 days after apparently the incident happened. There's also, they decided to celebrate their birthday with Quinshon after the event happened as well. And you can pause and read that entire thing from Chris Wrinkle should you choose to. But that's an interesting part of the case. And then you go on, and like today we found out more information from the victim. And, you know, basically the whole story you can read by going to these people's accounts on X. But basically along the lines of, you know, there was some text that Quinshon read and he didn't agree with, and he was upset about, and she is claiming that led to violence. And she's claiming that she didn't report it straight away. She waited 5 days because she was nervous about what it would do to his career. Here's the reality, okay? That's what we know by now. And the reality is, number one, the only person you should be following on this type of information is Drew Davenport. We've talked about him consistently over the last couple of years. I mean, he was a big person in the Rashee Rice case. And, you know, his backing was a big reason why I had a lot of confidence drafting Rashee Rice last year. You know, the type of ways that he reported on the Rashee Rice situation. So firstly, I just want to, it should go without saying, but I just want to say it right now. It isn't our job to really talk about the morality of the situation, right? Like, for fantasy football purposes, that's what we're here for. We're not here to talk about Quinshon is a terrible person. We're not here to talk about if the report is false. We're not here to make claims that the woman is, chasing a bag. At the end of the day, this is a terrible situation, no matter how it pans out, whether it's real or whether it's not. But when we look at this from a Dynasty football situation, all right, because I don't want to seem insensitive, but when we look at it from a Dynasty football situation, there is zero reason whatsoever to look at Quinshon Judkins differently from a Dynasty value, in my opinion. Because we have seen time and time again, different situations throughout the history of the NFL of a player doing something illegal. In this case, domestic violence obviously is very serious. And we have seen time and time again that person's career was not ultimately in jeopardy. So, you know, for example, on KTC, we've seen, and we hate KTC because of how reactionary it is, how unreliable it is. We like to use that as a weapon. He fell 10 spots in rankings in about 2 days, from the RB 10 overall to the RB 20. I have been getting an immense amount of trade requests in my inboxes for Quinshon Judkins. And it's people sending me second round picks and players I don't like at all. And to anyone in my leagues, I would just say, please stop sending me these trades. All right. I'm not going to be selling Quinshon Judkins for a second round pick randomly and a player I don't like. So stop sending me the offers. And On the inverse of that, if your league isn't sharp and people are overreacting, I would suggest purely from a getting the best value out of a deal that this is a decent time to go buy Quinshon Judkins. So that is my take on it. Again, this is not downplaying the severity of what's just happened. But friendly reminder, Alvin Kamara was on video beating up a human being. We don't know if there's any video evidence of this. Is it going to be hearsay? Is it going to be she said, he said? We don't know. There's going to be more details that come out. And again, doesn't matter the morality of the situation. I would hope that we would all agree that domestic violence is wrong. I would hope we all agree that driving 150 miles per hour on a highway and causing an accident with, guns in your car is wrong. I would hope we would all agree that beating someone up in a nightclub is wrong. But that's not what we're here to talk about. We're here to talk about the reality of the situation is almost every single time someone's in this situation, the people who bought low ended up getting the best value. So that's my take on it.
Okay. Good to know. My perspective is 2.
Is 2?
If or when. 1. If or when.
2 perspectives, you're saying. Okay.
Or I do have 2 perspectives.
Okay.
This is because I see both sides. I see your perspective and I see another perspective. And I think worst case scenario. And when we think about what does the NFL love to protect, it's because one of the things you brought up is, well, we saw Alvin Kamara beat up another human being. Now, when it comes down to what the NFL wants that to look like, whether there's video evidence or not, and I don't think any violence is good, obviously, but the NFL can tolerate male-on-male violence. Now, according to this report, if there is a video that does come out and Quinshon Judkins is physically assaulting a female, the NFL will not take that lightly. Alvin Kamara got a slap on the wrist because he was in a nightclub and he got into a fight with a dude. That's like him fighting with his teammate. Now, it's a little bit different, obviously, the context. But if another man hits a woman in the world, society, that's not okay.
Okay, so
then this is the NFL perspective, right? Which leads me to, if that does happen, if that does come out, hypothetically, I think Quinshon Judkins is in a very bad spot. Can
I just remind you, and again, I'm not trying to be insensitive here. Again, we've already gone through the morality of all this situation. We're trying to be logistical here as a value.
Yeah.
Kareem Hunt, there is video footage of him kicking a woman. Okay? He was suspended 8 games. Just saying.
Yeah.
I'm just saying. So I hear where you're coming from. Obviously, we all agree. At no point ever would I ever conduct this type of behavior. Okay? But I just want to be on the same page here. We have seen precedent for different situations. And this particular situation where you could argue even worse, like kicking a woman on the ground, there's video evidence of it. And he was suspended 8 games. So all I'm saying is you need to remove the emotion from it. None of us should be judging either situation right now. We don't know the full story. Of course, domestic violence is wrong. But we have seen time and time and time again that... I'm just saying.
I think, and I agree. I'm not disagreeing. We've seen time and time again, but I think it's the severity.
Sorry, Joe Mixon. Joe Mixon walked into a diner and smacked a woman in the face.
Yeah, but once again, and I'm not, once again, we all know that's not okay, but it's the severity of the situation. What is the context? Did Quinshon Judkins go up to this woman and start fucking, wailing on this chick and she no self-defense? Or did he go up and then, once again, smack her in the face or hit her a couple times and then walked away? Because once again, I just think it all depends on what is going to be shown and perceived, quote unquote, if there is evidence. That's why I think if something as bad as that with context, with video comes out, that's going to hurt Quinshon in a fantasy perspective. And that's the risk somebody like yourself or anyone out there could take. Because what if I told you right now there's a video of Quinshon Judkins hitting this girl and the context is really bad?
My response, genuinely, my response would be, number one, that's an absolutely terrible thing to happen. But number two,
agreed.
It would be bad media for 3 or 4 days, and over the next course of like 6 months, when this case is starting to figure out, people would care less and less about it. If you want me to be real,
and that's what I'm saying. I completely understand the perspective.
And I don't think it would change. Okay, so he goes from 4 games suspended to 6.
I think it's just this. In my mind is, if there's a video, I mean, the worst one that we've seen as fans is Ray Rice. If Quinshon Judkins is going Ray Rice on this girl, and that comes out, and we know what happened with Ray Rice, he was done after that.
Yeah, I mean, that's like one example of 10 you could name that did not end someone's career.
But the
vast majority of examples in these type of situations, if you bought low, you were well rewarded.
Yeah, if you bought low, you were well rewarded, which is definitely fair. So those are my 2 perspectives. Obviously, you have to wait for the evidence. You can take your shot on Quinshon if the evidence does come out and is bad. The extreme of Ray Rice, or is the less extreme, which once again both are terrible, as we have been saying. Both are terrible. Of Joe Mixon slapping somebody like Joe Mixon did, then that's fine. But we don't know that yet. So that's the risk we take in Dynasty.
Yeah. You know, this might come as a shock to a lot of people. Most people who own an NFL team are billionaires. And most billionaires do not care about morality. Okay? So I'm just going to put that out there before we move on. All right? Very rare you see a billionaire and you see the way they made their money and you say, you know what? Yeah, that's respectable. That's respectable. You're not taking advantage of society. So anyway, look, it is not our job to judge what has or has not happened yet. If I was in a rookie draft, Badaki, are you going to draft him at the 107 if you had a rookie draft today? My answer is 100% yes. 1,000,000% yes. No, he's not falling past the 107 in a rookie draft. Wouldn't happen.
Yeah. I just think it's for me, it's like I have that in the back of my mind that if, just like with every situation, you have to think of worst case scenario and you have to think of best case scenario. Best case scenario.
The worst case scenario for 9 out of 10 cases is a couple game suspension, 4 game suspension, at worst 8 game suspension.
Yeah.
It's just not.
So
I'm sorry. We're not here to talk about the morality of it.
Let's take it
realistically.
Okay, so let's take it to the next level.
Does not matter.
So this is let's take it. I'll bring my third perspective really fast, which has been I know we disagreed, but I said one of the biggest scenarios that I brought up for Quinshon Judkins and Dylan Sampson is what happens if Quinshon misses 4 to 6 games because of injury, and then Dylan Sampson comes out and then ruins his. I think this is the other perspective now, because if Quinshon is suspended 6 games and Dylan's killing it. Dylan is a top 10 running back. He's looking like a dog.
I'm sorry, but it's a pointless hypothetical because the opposite could be true, Badaki. He could not be throwing the shoes the way you need him to. And you
100%. And I completely
even
agree.
More difficult to get Judkins. It's just a pointless. I'm sorry, I just don't see.
I think there is.
There's just 2 ways that can go. It doesn't.
It's the same thing with the. But it's the same thing with the severity of the situation.
Yeah, I mean, I've said everything I can say on it.
Yeah.
My opinion. I've already said my opinion, and just like you can bring up every case of the NFL suspending someone, and again, 9 out of 10 times it hasn't mattered. So.
Yeah.
And no, there is no video, at least as of right now. It could come out.
As of right now, yeah.
We don't know.
There's nothing.
But I don't think anything that I want you to share your opinion, but the potential that Dylan Sampson could be good is not a reason that I'm going to sell Judkins or lower him in value.
No, but I think that is another layer of the situation, because now it gives Dylan an actual chance to show who he was. Now, we both agree. We would say as a prospect, as a talent, Quinshon Judkins is the more superior.
Yep, draft capital tells you that. Like decades
100%,
and decades of
and
historical
everything.
hit rates tell you that.
But we also know when somebody has an opportunity and they make most out of their opportunity, we would know that sometimes that value of that higher value player could potentially get hurt. I'm saying
just,
like
Quinshon. It's just a hypothetical though, so it doesn't really like. Yeah, I mean, Dylan Sampson could tear his ACL tomorrow. Judkins could tear his ACL tomorrow. A lot of things could happen. World War III could happen, and we could not even have the 2025 season. But I just don't think talking about the hypotheticals matters in this situation too much.
Sure. Yeah, that's fair.
I mean, Jerome Ford could be a top 12 running back until Judkins is back. And then you could have no chance to sell Dylan Sampson for anything. Because before Judkins was even on the field, he wasn't even someone. Do you know what I mean? So, like, do the hypotheticals really change the way you value someone today? For me, no. But
I think it instantly changes. I mean, look, I get it's a hypothetical, but I think it's also reality. Because, in a sense, because we know, I mean, at the moment, we don't know. Yeah. At the moment, we don't know if Quinshon is going to be suspended, if he's going to miss time. There's reports out there that he hasn't even signed his rookie contract.
No, well, that isn't unique to Quinshon, by the way. That is an issue for every second-round pick. 30 out of 32 second-round picks in the NFL haven't signed their contract. And that's because of an issue with the guarantees in a rookie contract. That is not some unique situation to Quinshon Judkins. Like, for example, Trey Harris is in a holdout now. He was the first second-round pick to declare a holdout because of certain guarantees in a contract. So that is not, he hasn't signed a contract and the team is unsure of him. That is the reality for almost every second-round pick anyway. So I just want to make sure we're that context I feel like is very crucial. But so I just wanted to quickly look at some Quinshon Judkins trades and see what the latest trades are on the Flock site maybe. But sorry, like any last thing you want to say there? I don't want to cut. No. I don't want to cut your thunder, but I don't think the hypotheticals are going to change the way I view a situation.
There's really no thunder. I just think I know hypotheticals are not ideal, but I think that is a scenario. Like, I think we need to look at all avenues because I think that is an avenue.
Yeah,
at least in my perspective.
And you can explore every other hypothetical scenario. That's my point. You can go to hypothetical land, and you can never stop looking at hypothetical land. And I don't know that it gets us that far. Okay, so I wanted to look at Quinshon Judkins trades. Right now, the trade database isn't really working, so we're going to look at Fantasy Calc. Here are some recent trades that have happened for Quinshon Judkins. Someone sent a second, a fourth, and Tajay for Judkins. That was in a Superflex 12-team start 10. Someone sent Kamara in a second. So look, if you're going to sell Judkins and you're unsure, get a 2027 first-round pick. Like, don't be selling him for a second-round pick and a player you don't like. So like this trade is like a monumental win in my opinion. Someone got Judkins in a first and sent away Brees in a third. Monumental win. There's an example of, okay, someone sent Travis Etienne for Judkins, Bashul Tootin in a second. Some of these trades are ridiculous. Some of these trades are fair. So you can explore a trade, but some of these trades are just dumb. Najee in a second, congratulations. You'll hate that in a month. Like, what are we even talking about here? Like, so anyway. All right. So that went longer than I thought it would, but hopefully that was helpful. We're going to do a startup mock. Badaki, how can people join us?
Yeah, guys, join our Discord. That link is going to be in the chat there, but that link is also in the description. Join our Discord. Hopefully Nightbot sends that out here in a second. Join our Discord. Go to the land tab with the orange footballs, then go to mock draft. That's how you can join each and every mock draft, whether you're watching now or later. We can have a see of where Quinshon Judkins is folding, maybe where Dylan Sampson is rising, or maybe Jerome Ford. Or the hypotheticals, we can go under there. But appreciate each and every one of you. Once Zach sends that link to me, I can send that to you.
Yeah, and again,
And then
friendly
we can
reminder,
go from
just
there.
in our Discord, in the mock drafts tab, link will be sent here. All right, just so everybody knows exactly where that link's about to be sent. I would love for you guys to come join us over there. But while Badaki sending that out, go ahead and send that out, Badaki. Just to the chat. Shout out to Rolling with my homies who joined, like on YouTube, where he's going to kind of stand out in the chat now. We appreciate you big time.
Appreciate you, man.
Says, thanks for the content. We appreciate you. Thanks for showing some love. I also wanted to, who was I going to give a shout out to? I can't remember. There was someone else, but yeah, someone mentioned they upgraded their team playbook. Sir Flammy says, hey, I upgraded my team review to live, but I might not be able to watch it tonight. All good, man. You'll get a link to, You'll get a link to when we talk about it on stream anyway. But appreciate y'all for being here. We're going to start this up. It's a super flex 12 team tight end premium 3rd round reversal startup mock draft. And yeah, of course we can keep talking Quinshawn. We also don't have to talk about it again for the rest of the stream. So anyway.
Anyways. Should be Gucci. Let me pull up some rankings.
So obviously you're concerned, like you said, Dylan Sampson could break out. What was the other concern? Sorry.
My concern, it's not necessarily a concern. I think there is more opportunity for Dylan. So it's not about breakout. It's more about he has a window to establish himself and maybe give them even more of a reason to believe in him over Quinshawn, or to be more of a, I think as of today, right now, if Quinshawn wasn't in the situation, we would both say Quinshawn Judkins is going to be getting, 100% of the workload, which is like the 80 to 70% of the workload. But now, if Dylan Sampson does establish himself within, hypothetically, once again, the 4 games Quinshawn gets suspended, the 5 games Quinshawn gets suspended, then we can see more of a 50-50 role potentially, which would then hurt Quinshawn's ceiling. The reason why we drafted him.
Don't you feel if Dylan Sampson is good enough to be a starter in the NFL that he's going to demand opportunities anyway? Like, won't he just already demand a role if he's that good?
Maybe
won't that already be a problem for
Judkins? That's not for me to say. That's for the Browns to say. Like maybe they drafted him with the expectation of him having a role, but we don't know that.
Yeah, but what I'm telling you is, if in your situation, in your hypothetical, if Dylan Sampson really is that good, isn't it going to be a problem anyway, whether Judkins was suspended or not?
No, 100%. But we weren't in that one because we 100% we both agreed, or the community agreed, that Quinshawn was the superior talent because of his draft capital.
Yeah, but I guess I'm just saying, whether this situation had with Judkins or not, if Dylan Sampson is that good, like you're saying in your hypothetical he could be, it was always going to be a problem whether Judkins was suspended or not, no?
Sure. I guess, I mean, I never felt that way because I think, in my perspective, I didn't believe Dylan Sampson was going to get the opportunity to show his talent unless we saw an injury from Quinshawn.
Okay. I guess the way I look at that hypothetical is, if Dylan Sampson really is as good as your hypothetical says that he could be, then it was always going to be a problem no matter what. If Dylan Sampson really is so good. But I'm not claiming you're saying Dylan Sampson is that good. I'm claiming what your hypothetical is claiming. Your hypothetical scenario, your worst case scenario, is Dylan Sampson is so good that, when he becomes a starter and he's very good, and he's going to get opportunities that will take away from Judkins. My counter to that is, wouldn't that always be a problem whether or not Judkins had the situation come up? If he really is good enough in that hypothetical, like you're saying it could happen, hypothetically, wouldn't that always be a problem regardless 100%, of some sort of suspension 100%. Or not then? So
100%, and that's always been my thing with Quinshawn. Like, I remember I've said this multiple times on live streams. I was like, I like Quinshawn, and then when Dylan Sampson got drafted, I said it's going to be interesting because, once again, the hypotheticals that I brought up at that time was, if he misses time and Dylan Sampson does show how his talent in that span, then we see we see Dylan just eat into the workload a little bit more. Just like I guess we're kind of I mean, it's different because it's not the draft capital, so I can't even bring that up as a comparison. I was going to bring Cam Scatterbull and Tracy, but that's not a good comparison, in my opinion.
Yeah.
But anyways, I hear what you're saying. It was always a problem. Yes, it was, but I had significantly more confidence.
What I'm trying to explain is I don't think it's a problem. Okay, so throw out that Judkins never had an issue with the law. Okay.
Sure.
Okay. So throw that out completely. My opinion originally is no, Dylan Sampson is not a good enough talent to be concerned about Judkins. But I'm trying to play into your hypothetical. The hypothetical you're playing into, correct me if I'm wrong, is, well, Dylan Sampson might be so good that he'll be a problem for Judkins, right?
Sure.
Is that the hypothetical? Correct me if I'm wrong.
The hypothetical is that Dylan Sampson has the opportunity to showcase his talent, has an ability to establish himself where he never had that before. That's the hypothetical.
Right, but I guess what I'm trying to explain is if he is that good in this hypothetical, this hypothetical claims that he could be that good, and he does deserve a role, wouldn't that have already been a problem regardless of suspension?
Yes, I would agree.
Okay.
Yes, I do agree on that.
Yeah.
That's that. So like I hear your perspective. Like it was already a problem regardless of the situation because of his talent, because of
in this hypothetical world where he is good enough to demand opportunities in an offense.
100%. I agree, and that was always I was like, hey, I don't think Quinshon is going to be anything. Or I don't think we should be scared of Quinshon and his talent at all, because I do believe he's a superior talent. He's going to be the lead back in this backfield. But my asterisk on Quinshon was always, if Dylan could potentially showcase that when Quinshon goes down and they like what they saw, why not give both of those guys opportunity? And then Quinshon's ceiling is then lowered. It can be lowered significantly. It can be lowered a little bit. It cannot be lowered at all because they just love Quinshon Judkins better. You know?
No, and I totally hear where you're coming from. I guess I'm, again, just trying to advocate that if Dylan Sampson truly is that good where he demands opportunities, then it would have been a problem no matter what. Like, he would have been more involved than we thought no matter what. And, I don't know why Stefan has such a big problem with us talking about this. I guess everything we have to be on the same exact page, Badaki. I can't ask a question or talk about your hypothetical or try and dig into it and have a conversation together. We have to have the same opinion. So I'm sorry about that. Yeah. That's my bad.
No. And Chasing Breaker is probably explaining it better. So there's more room to get established, get playing time, and take the spot. It's not necessarily take the spot. It's just take opportunity away. Because I don't think ever, in my perspective, that there's going to be a window where Dylan Sampson just takes over the job of Quinshon, unless Quinshon tears his ACL or is no longer in the league for some reason. That's kind of my perspective. It's just he has a bigger window. And when someone has a window, we hate that, because then they show their talent, and if they are really talented, then they take away from the superior. I don't want to say Quinshon is the superior talent. I would say the one that has a little bit more than Dylan Sampson. I would say significantly more. So I don't want to say superior. I feel like superior is a significant word, like as if he's a superstar. Yeah. If it was Jahmyr Gibbs and he was in this situation and there was a Dylan Sampson behind Jahmyr Gibbs, it's like, all right, whenever Jahmyr Gibbs comes back, we know he's going to be the guy. But I think there's still a little bit of a what if here.
And again, I understand where you're coming from, but if it's okay for me to say my opinion, we'll have to clear it with stuff and we'll see. But if it's okay to give like a different perspective on it as well, I guess what I'm trying to claim is, in that hypothetical, Dylan was a good player. Dylan Sampson's a good player, right? So we're on the same page in that hypothetical.
Yeah.
So given that hypothetical, Dylan being a good player, if he is going to be a good player, then wouldn't he have eventually demanded a role at some point anyway? So that's all I'm saying. Like, I understand where you're coming from.
And I agree. I see that perspective as well.
The initial reaction, maybe, where you're coming from, could be a concern. As far as, well, actually, Dylan's good. How do we value Quinshon Judkins? But it would just be in a different form, no? Like, for example, like Judkins is suspended and Dylan starts to eat at that role in the first year. You know, it would be a slow burn where people are like, oh, wow, Dylan Sampson is really something. Whereas where you're coming from, Dylan Sampson's good straight away. Then people are like, oh, wow, is there any value with Quinshon Judkins? So I think it would just be handled a different way. But I think all I'm trying to say is in this hypothetical, what you're concerned about, and I'm trying to just have a conversation about it.
Yeah.
In this hypothetical you're concerned about, it would be a problem regardless, is what I'm trying to get at, if this hypothetical were to be true.
Like, correct me if I'm wrong. I'm just trying to think of a situation that's happened before, but I feel like, correct me if I'm wrong, I know the draft capital is different, but what did Rashad White get hurt and then Bucky Irving broke out, or was it he just got more opportunity?
No, he just ate at that role all year long. And
I'm
then
trying to think of somebody that played into this role.
After the bye week, they made a huge change in opportunity, which we see all the time for rookies. Right after that bye week.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah, we see stuff like that. I'm trying to think of somebody. I'm trying to think of a running back. Like who did that? Somehow,
it's a very unique situation. It's not often that like someone drafts a running back in round 2, they get suspended, and they also draft someone in round 4. You know.
Well, I guess I'm just meaning like. I'm talking about the we know this person's better, and then somebody came, or we believe this person's better, and a player has come around and took opportunity because there was a window, and then their role continued to grow. That's what I'm trying to say.
Yeah. See, like Chase Brown doesn't work because Zach Moss is not a second-round pick.
Yeah.
This year, so it's a unique situation, right? And that's why I think it's important to like have a conversation and talk it out. And again, Stefan has a problem with, so why jump on Badaki for his opinion? Am I not like jumping into this conversation with you? I don't. Okay. So never mind. We actually can't go back and forth on these things. I apologize. What's your opinion on Rashee Rice, Badaki? I'm going to listen and not say anything.
No, it's good. It's good. We're fine. He's fine. Zach's fine. It's just.
No, I actually would love to hear your opinion. And then as I hear it, I'm just not going to respond to it or say any opinions that might go against it. Yeah, this is how live streams work, guys. You have conversations back and forth. You question opinions. And you don't agree on everything 100%. We call it debate.
Debate.
So Henderson goes at the 311. It would be interesting to see, like, bring up one of your mock drafts. Not one of your mock drafts. Sorry, bring up one of your real drafts, and I hope I can ask you to do this. But bring up one of your real drafts that you've done with your recent leagues, and let's find out where Judkins went there, because it'd be interesting to see. And I hope I'm not crossing any boundaries there. I'll grab Jordan Love. I'll grab Jordan Love here at 409. I'll start my draft with Neighbors, St. Brown, Herbert Love. Feeling good about it. Don't have a running back that I'm obsessed with, obviously, but we'll build around that core there. All right, so Badaki just sent us one of his real drafts. Is this the last one that happened? Which one's this?
Nah, I can send you the last one. This is the Bronx one.
So in this one, we had Judd's at the 4-1. And it looks like Joel drafted him there at the 4-1.
I can send you the Brooklyn one. I feel like the only reason why I'm not sending you that one because it's a tight end 0.75 tight end premium. So I'm not sure.
Joel says I reached in that one though. Cooper says the real issue here, boys, is I have to start Tracy and Jaden Higgins in week 1. Yeah, I was actually thinking about this. Like in my Kilo league, I'll show you guys. I have no idea. I think I have to start Tony Pollard, or is it Foxtrot? Yeah, it's Foxtrot. So I think I'm gonna have to start.
Is this for
Tony
replacement
Pollard.
of Quinshon?
Yeah, that's like the only league I'm like relying on him heavily.
Honestly, the only league that I have Quinshon in is the hotel league, but I got James Cook and Quinshon was a need in this league in the hotel, so I don't really. I have David Montgomery. Yeah, so I have like.
Let me
James
help you
Cook,
out, bro.
Monty.
Let me help you out. I don't know if you've seen his recent value.
But 27.
Do I have Dylan Sampson on this team? Let's see.
I need to look at your team.
I have Jerome Ford. So there's hypothetically Jerome Ford could become a superstar.
I need to look at your team to see if you are.
I'm gonna send you Jerome Ford.
Yeah, like 27 first is not going to be.
I'll send you a second. And
oh my gosh, I'm on the clock. Okay.
Judkins just went. I'll kind of panic add Igbokwe there. What do you think about Jerome Ford, a second-round pick, and I'll give you Jerry Jeudy in a second. How about that?
Someone sent me Brandon Ayuk for Quinshon Judkins.
I'll send you Jerry Jeudy in a second.
No, thank you.
It's just in your inbox. Just want you to know that's actually, based off what I've seen, it's a very good offer.
I'll take the first.
It's available. It's available in your inbox whenever you want it.
If you send me the 27 first right now, I'll do it.
Yeah, that's not his price point, man.
I need to look at your team though. Because your team, I think your team in that league is pretty good. Okay, I'm on the clock here. 2 wide receivers. Hey, Chase Brown falling to me here. I'll take Chase Brown downtown there. I thought he would be gone by now. I guess people had to get quarterback there.
Chase and Breaker says, not exactly the same, but Le'Veon Bell holding out led to James Conner becoming the dude in Pittsburgh. And that is true.
Yeah, and I think that's kind of my scenario. My scenario is leading somebody to opportunity to then grow into a role.
Yeah,
that's all the hypothetical is.
Don't we agree that James Conner is a good enough running back? He would have started at some point. Like what we've seen from James Conner right now, people didn't know that at the time. But can't we all agree that he was going to be important to an offense at some point anyway? That was going to happen.
I think that is the situation. Like, where was James Conner being drafted at that time for him to with Le'Veon Bell there?
Yeah,
and
Le'Veon Bell was already an established number 1 highest usage back. That's what I'm saying. In the league at that time.
Yeah, like in that time, Le'Veon Bell would be like the Jahmyr Gibbs and Ashton Genties of the world right now, which is fair. So that's why the hypothetical with the elite running back is a little bit difficult because no one thought about James Conner. But that's the thing. It led James Conner to an opportunity to then now be a guy that we rely on.
Yep.
That's kind of my scare with Dylan Sampson of, is it going to be somebody we're going to be relying on and then taking away opportunities from Quinshon? We still believe he's the better talent. We still believe he's the guy. He has a draft capital. Yeah, I've been trying to think of somebody else. A wide receiver, hell. I'm trying to think who got hurt, and then a wide receiver came up and was just better.
You can start 3 wide receivers at a time, can't you?
Yeah, I know.
But if you want to use that example, Jordan Addison was great without Justin Jefferson, and then Justin Jefferson came back, and now Jordan Addison's a wide receiver too on the team. I don't know. I mean, you could go into hypothetical land until you can't breathe, really, if you wanted. Appreciate y'all for being here with us. Do us a favor, hit that like button to show some love. Unless, of course, you don't like conversations, because we do have conversations on the live streams, and some people might not be into that. So, if you're not enjoying conversations where people talk back and forth, I understand that you don't like the stream. But if you're into that kind of thing, hit the like button, show some love. We've also got some videos we're releasing over on the Redraft channel, so definitely go subscribe over there. I'll put a link in the chat for you. Just released a video today called 7 Players I Would Go to War For. And I hate to spoil it, but I do talk a lot in that video. DK Metcalf comes off the board there at the 6'6". Xavier Worthy at the 6'07". You took Caleb Johnson there. Would love to hear what you think about Caleb Johnson.
Just open to opportunity, really. Jokes.
I'm just gonna listen.
That's hilarious. You're on the clock here. Malik Neighbors, Amon-Ra St. Brown, Emeka Mbuka with Justin Herbert and Jordan Love. No running back so far. Probably wanted Caleb.
Yeah, they looked great. No, those looked like great options there. Yeah, I'm just going to grab Tyler Warren here. Don't really have a player in particular I really am obsessed with at that point of the board. and we'll see what comes back to me. What are your expectations for Caleb Johnson in year number 1?
I think he comes off the rip being the number 1 guy, personally.
So?
Let me rephrase that. When I say off the rip, I'll probably say week 3. So really, within the first 5 games, I would say he is going to be the instant number 1. And he can kind of do it all, right? He can do the pass catching. He can run in between tackles and do all that. So, I personally think he's going to be I think we all believe he's going to be the number 1 guy there. So I wouldn't.
I have no choice
be
but to believe with you.
Him.
The way these live streams work. So, I agree. DJ Moore comes off the board. Zay Flowers comes off the board. George Pickens comes off the board. Bryce Young. Supreme at the 12th spot. A very interesting build here. His first quarterback in the 7th round. Building around the running backs and wide receivers there. First quarterback being Bryce Young. Love me some Bryce Young, but man, I would have some bubble guts putting a roster like that out there. Trusting Bryce as my number 1. As Olave comes off the board. I got a couple guys I got my eye on here. Let's see what happens.
Yeah, same.
I got a couple names I'm trying to snag. Derrick Henry comes off the board. All right, we'll go Ken Walker as our first running back drafted here in the 7th round. Yeah, weird situation in Seattle, right? Weird situation. Ken Walker, this guy kind of built on explosive plays, but not really the most consistent, like, grinder, play in, play out. And it's now the 2nd season in a row where the offensive coordinator has changed. So obviously that's something that we have to digest as well. I don't know why some people are making the argument, obviously, like, so Clint Kubiak, the new offensive coordinator, I think he'll be great for Ken Walker, but I don't think we can advocate that it's like better than what he just had last year. I mean, because last year the offensive coordinator was very intent on targeting him early and often. We don't know exactly if the new coordinator is going to be that intent on targeting him, making him a big part of the passing game. So, yeah, it'll be fun.
Yeah, I'm a little bit concerned about Walker and what Team 4 has gone. I just realized. What that's going to look like. I'm interested in that offense as a whole, because my concern is not the offensive coordinator. My concern is the quarterback.
Right.
I think I've been expressing that for a long time already. A lot of Sam Darnold's success was because of the situation around him. He had literally one of the best wide receivers in the NFL, has a phenomenal wide receiver 2, a top 3, top 5 tight end, arguably.
Yeah.
He has a veteran running back that can run and protect. And one of the best offensive mind head coaches there. And now he gets a bag. Granted, love that for him, making way more money than we'll probably both make in our lifetime. And then I just don't see the success there. It's hard. It's hard to see. It's hard to see personally.
Really? What about, he's had some pretty decent years though. He's already shown he's a good starting running back in the NFL.
Sorry, I was talking about Sam Darnold.
Oh, okay. I apologize.
In that offense.
Right. Okay.
Of I
guess if worst case scenario for Ken Walker, Sam Darnold isn't great, then they go to Jalen Milroe and they're even more run focused. So.
Yeah, which is great. Then they would be like, whoa, see you there. But
I'm not so convinced like you are that Sam Darnold's just going to be dog shit and lose his job in the first 10 weeks.
I think compared to last year, this is what's going to happen. The media, fantasy, we're going to look at Sam Darnold and compare him to last year and be like, dude, this is not the Sam Darnold that we saw last year, and this is not okay.
Nobody is expecting him to do what he did last year, though, are they? Because, if you look at ADP, if anyone had that expectation, wouldn't he be like a top 15 drafted running back in redraft this year? I don't even think he's top 20. I don't even think he's drafted in most one quarterback
I just think
formats.
There's low expect. Yeah, maybe. In Dynasty, probably. I'm trying to think in redraft perspective because I'm in redraft mind. I don't know. I just don't believe that
I'm gonna
is
take
the
my third
case.
quarterback in the name of Jackson Dart at the
Superstar.
8-9. All right, catching up with the chat.
Another,
Sir Flammy, we saw your message earlier. Thanks for letting us know. We did take note of that, and we absolutely will. We absolutely will keep that in mind. But you'll get a time code anyway when we finish your review, so you're good to go. Why is Kincaid's ADP so high? It's a great question. I don't know the answer to it. You know, King Henry had a great question. Says, thoughts on Juwan Jennings' request on a new contract or trade?
yes, that is a good question.
I actually think that's extremely important news. I don't know where you stand, but
I think so as well. I think. Sorry.
no, go ahead. I mean, this is a conversation. We both. So how it works is we both get to talk, and we might not actually think the same way, but we both actually get to talk and say whatever we want to. So go ahead. Like you can actually say whatever you want right now. That's the cool part of what we do.
That is the cool part of it, huh? Sorry, I hit my mic. I think it can hurt him. I think it can open up a lot of doors for Ricky. Because if Juwan Jennings right here, right now, is saying, I'm not coming to training camp because I want a contract extension, personally, I'm sorry, brother. Like, you're just not as high value as any of these guys, and we're just gonna let you walk, which gives more of a reason to draft the George Kittles, more of a reason to draft the Ricky Pearsalls. So I am 100% behind. I want him gone. Because that just gives me, I'm already confident in Pearsall, but that just gives me 10 times more confidence that when he is gone.
It would, if this continues, it will make Pearsall really hard to draft. That's the problem. Like in redraft leagues, if you think of best ball redraft, it will push up his ADP so high. It will be really, really difficult to go out and buy him. But the reality is, I mean, look, Juwan Jennings is a great player. He's set to make $7.5 million. It's the final year of his contract. Honestly, it makes so much sense. If you were Juwan Jennings, you'd be doing the same thing. Like, why, after a great year in the NFL, would you not want to secure a bigger bag for yourself? The issue is, didn't the Niners just try to trim this issue off their team this year with getting rid of Deebo Samuel? I know he's only had 1 year left on his contract this year, but are they really going to sign Ayuk? They already have a big bag on, and who knows? Is he a long-term part of the team? I think he is. Everyone in YouTube doesn't in the comment sections. I think he is. I believe from our conversations, you think Ayuk's a big part of their future. So are they really going to sign Juwan Jennings to a big long-term deal with CMC signed long-term, Kittle signed long-term, Ayuk signed long-term, Purdy signed long-term? I don't think so. So
I don't think they can.
I don't think they can. Like, Juwan Jennings is a great player, but he's a player that you're like, thank God Juwan Jennings is on our team for $7 million. Not, well, let's sign Juwan for $25 million a year. Like, that is not what, then you're like, why the hell did we sign Juwan Jennings for that? So I don't know exactly what they're going to do. If he holds out, maybe they trade him. Maybe it's great for Juwan. Maybe he gets sent to somewhere. But, you and I have been team breakout Ricky Pearsall and also buy Brandon Ayuk, even though everyone says he's dead. We've both been on that same side. And I feel like anything's possible. Juwan could be brought back. He could stop his holdout. But it's a good position to be in.
Jacob Cohen breakout. See you there.
Jacob Cohen,
Slot King.
He was a good player, man. He was a good player. I remember watching Steve Smith's take on T-Mac, and he said when Jacob Cohen was there, he was the alpha, not T-Mac. And I was like, oh, damn.
That's actually true. High key. That makes you rethink T-Mac.
No.
I'm joking.
All right, so after I took Jaden Reed, we have Monty, Shakir, Pacheco, Swift, Etienne, Samuel, Kraft, Connor, and Scattaboo come off the board, as well as Trey Benson. All right, so we Team 12, by the way, now has Darnold and Young as their quarterbacks. Everyone else pretty much has two quarterbacks they drafted earlier. Just trying to compare rooms to each other.
Yeah, very interesting. But
as
Oh,
Anthony
lucky.
Richardson comes off the board there. Brian Robinson. Yeah, I'll take a
Dog.
running back here. I'll just grab Tyrone Tracy.
Dog.
And, just late RB. Not like I'm obsessed with Tracy or anything, but he's my second running back in 10 rounds, and that's the way we're drafting our
Football.
teams.
This is crazy, huh?
Must be Ja says, you don't like my team at 12. My team will outscore most teams. That's a fact. I like your team until I look at your quarterback room, man. But yeah, I like the team, but I think you might be underestimating how important it is to have quarterbacks you can rely on. Doesn't mean your team's gonna be bad, but you're gonna need Bryce Young to step up. And we all think Bryce Young will be better, so. But Aki's prediction is that Sam Darnold's fucked. So I hate to tell you that you're kind of messed up there.
Yeah. Kirk Cousin vibes.
Frosty says, I mess with Team 12. Don't love Darnold or Pickens, but love the first 5. Yeah, I hear you. Jason says, I'm not leaving the 5th round without 2 quarterbacks in a super flex startup right now. I mean, and I do think, of course, there's like a range of outcomes where Sam Darnold could be replaced. I think we all agree. There's a range of outcomes there. But
I get him out.
I'm
Paid him a bag.
I'm not so much on the sense of like it's going to happen this year for sure.
I'm not making the same mistake as I made with Michael Penix.
Well,
oh, that was first round pick though. To be fair, so that's a little bit different.
I was gonna say I'll talk about my wins all day if we want to. I got no problem talking about my wins. Let's talk about Penix. No, I'm just kidding. As Jalen Milroe comes off the board there at the 11-6, I think we're influencing the draft board at this point. There goes Dylan Sampson. I actually completely forgot about that situation entirely as we were drafting here. Well, what are you thinking here? 19 seconds on the clock.
Gosh, I might get another. Let's see, I might get another running back here. I'm going Isaac. Opportunity. Another guy. If someone goes down, boom. See you there. Apparently, there's hella floods and stuff in New York right now. Is that true? Specifically in Jersey.
Yeah, that's a good question. I don't know. I mean, I think I would ask you about that if I heard about it. Is that true? Is that happening? Is that real?
Yeah. Is that real? Are you ready? He says, yeah, it's flooding. Okay, yeah. Well, my brother's over there. He's just sending a bunch of pictures right now of like it being hella flooded. He lives in Jersey.
Yeah, not good. I mean, is New York going to be underwater someday if the tides keep rising? I don't know. You tell me.
But that's really every country in it. As Antarctica is melting, we're all going to drown soon, and that's our fault.
Damn. It could be our fault. As Jack Besh comes off the board at the 12-2. And you're about to make your last pick, and then we're going to get into some team playbooks.
Just realized I didn't have Is the last pick? I got to round 14.
Oh, you have to round 14?
Scroll down.
Okay, yeah.
Do you actually...
What?
Oh, no. I was like, do you actually not have round 14? Or...
I didn't. I just had to refresh there, and then it showed up. But we will be doing some team playbooks here soon. We did have someone upgrade theirs to live. Let's see here. Let me refresh. We've got a Trey question, which we can look at here in a second. Obi-Wan's going to do their live team playbook as well. They've been in the stream. And it's been good to have them. As Jaden Blue comes off the board. And we're just going to keep filling up that running back room with guys we're, a little bit we like as sleepers. Tank Bigsby, the latest addition to the room.
Gotcha, Jawan.
He goes at the 12-10. Where do you think he could be traded if he does get traded? Where could he be traded?
That's what that was literally the next question. I actually was thinking about it earlier today. I don't see a team that's out there that he can be traded to make an impact like he does in San Francisco. I could be wrong, but I would say like I don't know, Cardinals maybe. They kind of need a wide receiver too, but they got, if you really think about it, it's Marvin and Trey.
Yep.
I can't tell you a team that needs a man like him. Ravens. But why?
That is the question.
Seahawks.
The question is why.
Ooh.
Steelers could be interesting.
Now Bills got Shakir. Steelers could be interesting. Yeah, that's a good wide receiver. They need a wide receiver.
They do. We're gonna answer this trade question here from Zeno, who submitted a question. It looks like they would be sending away Achane in a second to get back 2 firsts and Luther Burden. So basically, let's cross out the second and Burden, but I think most people prefer Burden over a second, so it's a little bit of an upgrade there. And then Achane for 2 firsts. I think that's probably the price you'd pay for Achane, 2 firsts. If they're truly early to mid, I think you can't lose. There's always going to be a running back in the first 6 picks that you can target. He said it's my own second in a rebuild as well. So in a rebuild, you get Burden. Oh, so you're sending your second away in a rebuild. That's not ideal, is it?
No, it's not ideal, but I think you get 2 firsts. I would do that even
in a
rebuild.
Are those really projected early firsts in the future? And instead of your second, could you send something else like, like, could you send Mark Andrews instead or something? Oh wait, this is what you would add. Sorry. Let's see what you have on your team. Like, instead of that second, can you send, like, would a Tillman do it? Yeah, your tight ends are rough. Yeah, I mean, not ideal to send your own second away when you know it's going to be pretty high. But overall, I think it's pretty good value.
Yeah, I think so as well. I'm happy to.
I'd try and counter and make it a third instead of a second, or a Tillman instead of the second, or offer a third.
Yeah, I would
fourth,
do
But
yeah, I would do. I mean, I would even do Tillman in a third, just to get it done personally. So you can keep your second. But once again, I'm okay not.
Yeah. Overall,
I think
still
setting that second.
It makes sense if you're looking to rebuild and add some picks to your inventory. As we've seen Mason Taylor come off the board, Jonnu Smith, Pat Bryant, Tyler Shuck. Supreme, you should have got Tyler Shuck there. I'm not gonna lie, bro. You should have been a Tyler Shuck team, I think. Dobbins, Spears, White, Stevenson, Javonte Williams. Wow, Javonte Williams goes after Tajay, Dobbins, Warren, Stevenson. We see Tillman, Shador Sanders comes off the board as well. And you know what? Not only do we have the Giant starter of the future, but we have the former Giant starter of the future who is now the future starter of the Colts, Daniel Jones, on the team. How about them apples? You like that? Anyway.
Daniel Jones, miss you every day.
All right, shall we start doing some team playbooks? We'll start with Obi-Wan. If Obi-Wan Goat is in the building, appreciate the upgrade here. So we'll go ahead and mark that. If you guys are out there and you want to get a playbook done tonight, you want us to have a look at one of your Dynasty teams, Playbook is a customized game plan for your offseason. Players to buy, sell, hold, customized trade targets. We can do all that for your team. All you need to do is become a promo code LAND annual Mother Flock member. That will give you a voucher that you can use through the Flock store. And then just choose Zach and Badaki after team review, and then move that slider up to live if you want it to be shown on the stream as a live team playbook. I'll put a link in the chat there. Also, if you are a member already with us or a member of a different promo code, you can also purchase the team playbook just through the Flock store as well. Obviously, members get a 30% discount. But let's go to Obi-Wan Goat here to start off today.
Hey, appreciate you, man. Thank you so much for your support. We're going to have a look at this team. But please jump in at any point in time if you are here with us. I think you were here with us earlier, but if not, that's totally okay because I know you said you were going to be away. 2 quarterback, 10 team, start 10, which is our classic middle ground. I'll put that in the chat. That is his construction for his team, essentially.
Okay.
Or format for his team, excuse me. He says, hey guys, took over this team and want advice on where to go as I have the 102 in our 2025 rookie draft coming up. I would appreciate you guys' insight and what to do and how to go about making this team better. Keep up the great content. We appreciate you. Your team name is Flaming Flamesters, currently ranked 8 out of 10.
Unreal.
Yeah, love to see it. Flaming Flamesters here, and let's have a look at this team, shall we? At the quarterback position, you have Brock Purdy, JJ McCarthy, and Russell Wilson. Nice little young quarterback room outside of Russell Wilson there. You do have the 103. At the running back position, Saquon Barkley, Bucky Irving, Jonathan Brooks, RIP. Really no one else to talk. Really no one else to talk about there in your third running back position. You can start up to 5 wide receivers, and here's your starting 5: Amon-Ra St. Brown, George Pickens, Tyreek Hill, Stephon Diggs, and Romeo Dobbs, with Travis Kelce and Dallas Goedert. So a lot of holes here for sure. Not as good running back depth. Older running back or wide receiver room with the Tyreek Hills and Stephon Diggs of the world, and same thing with the tight end position there. But you do have the 103, the 302, and really that's it with your 26 first. He also says where to go as I have the 102.
Right
here you have the 103.
Maybe why don't what? I'll just check on the back end on KTC if it says something different then.
Yeah, let me know, and I'll go through some untouchables here. Untouchables, there's 2 untouchables. Maybe we'll talk about tearing down, but Saquon Barkley, we'll put is as an untouchable with that new contract extension. I know he's an older player, but we like to keep him as an untouchable. Amon-Ra St. Brown, of course, still a nice young wide receiver we love to build around. Is your untouchable holds. Definitely JJ McCarthy is going to be a hold for us.
Yeah, so he has a 103 on KTC as well. So unless both of our sites are showing something incorrect, let's just assume he has a 103 then.
Yeah. When it comes on to other holds, let's just put Brock Purdy as well, because he got that contract extension. Drops, you can drop. There's a bunch of drops that you can do here. Cam Akers, AJ Dillon, Raheem Mostert, Jaleel McLaughlin. You can drop. Ryan Flournoy. You can drop. Tyler Lockett if you wanted to. Romeo Dobbs if you really wanted to. So a bunch of drops here. And obviously your waiver wires technically hasn't gone as of yet, unless you can pick up players before your draft, which once again highly doubtful.
But yeah.
For some reason, if you can, Ben Sinnott is somebody I'll pick up. Marshawn Lloyd is somebody I'll pick up. Miles Sanders I'll take a shot on.
I think honesty is important here. Like if this was a 14-team league, and we're like, hey, It's hard to fill a roster in a 14-team league. I think I would have a different opinion on this team. But it's a 10-team league, smaller league. Everybody's teams should be stacked relatively, right? Especially the guys who are competing. They should have stacked rosters. I don't think this team is very good. You know, if it was, again, a bigger league, more difficult to fill the starting lineup, then I would have a different opinion. But, I mean, let's just look at example for, like, the number one team in your league. Well, they have Daniels, Tua. They've got Brees Hall, Mixon. So their team isn't even that good, honestly. But looks like their team is built on, like, draft capital. They're about to add Ashton Genty. All right.
There's really
Josh
no, like,
Allen, Bo Nix,
here.
Ken Walker, Pacheco, Thomas McConkey. So this team 3 is actually the best team in your league. But team 4 is better than you. Team 3 is better than you. Team 5 is better than you. Team 6 has a better chance with Bowers there. I think you can compete this year. Like, if you could start Purdy, bet on a McCarthy breakout, Saquon, Bucky makes it 4, Amon-Ra makes it 5, Pickens makes it 6, Kelsey makes it 7. Then you have to start Hill, Diggs, that makes it 9. I don't know who else you're starting. I don't know who's your 10th. And when you don't have a 10th name to start in a 10-team league, you have to bet on whoever the 103 is, I guess. I just lean towards the most likely outcome. This team is not winning a championship this year. And then you think about this team next year as Kelsey ages, Tyreek, Diggs, Saquon. As all these names start to age, Russell Wilson's probably out of the league. You know, will you have missed your opportunity to really reshape this team? So in my opinion, I would be pretty much committing to a 1-year punt at minimum with this team. Sure, you can compete. I think it will be, I don't want to say useless, but I feel like the most likely outcome is you're actually not a contender in this league. So that's my opinion. Do you disagree?
No, look, I don't disagree. I think I would like to make a move or two to see if you could. And when I mean a move or two, I just mean like, all right, we're going to tier back from the 103 because I think we might suggest that here to give more capital or to kind of figure that out potentially. And if this is more of like an in or out team, like, all right, let's see what we can do as we get into the season. And if you start 5-1, 4-2, then that's great because hypothetically you drafted, let's just say at the 103, you drafted Travion Henderson, or Travis Hunter, and you put him at your flex. That helps, but there's no depth, which I agree. So that's kind of where I'm at. I would love to see what we can do in an in or out perspective, but which kind of leans into the 1-year punt in the out.
Okay.
Right, and then lean in if you are winning.
We can put a couple ideas there of what it would look like if you competed. I don't think you should, but we'll give you both options there. Looking at your draft, overall team grade, I guess we should do. Look, again, I'm not trying to be harsh, but in a 10-team league, this is not
the best team
standing up. I think like C+.
Yeah.
Draft capital grade, at least you have your picks in the future. I will put like B+. Decent position to be in. But all right, at the 103, he says he has a 102. Do we just pretend like he has a 102 because he says he has a 102?
I guess it's not that
Let's just pretend he has a 102 then.
I guess it's not that big of a scenario if it's the 101 or the 102. Well, I guess it's Marion Hampton or Travis Hunter, essentially. So
yeah, so if you have the 102, then I would probably draft the Marion Hampton. If you're going to stick and pick, that's where I would go. I get that you're rebuilding, but first round running back, you know, young running back you can build around. Of course, if you wanted to go like the Hunters or the McMillans, be my guest, but I would be going with Hampton. And then beyond that, you're kind of just trying to hit on names. I probably would use that 3rd round pick to target like a Mason Taylor, Arroyo's, Terrence Ferguson's. But there's also the possibility of trading back. And, you know, you can trade back. Well, now, do you want to trade all the way back to the 107 with Judkins' situation?
I mean, that's the risk you take, right?
Is it
You
not
can. I would just say.
perfect for
I
a
would just.
rebuilder?
Yeah. I mean, once again, you can. You can. It just. If you were here earlier, you probably had heard the conversation. It just depends on what you believe, and if you believe Quinshon is going to be okay after this, no matter what comes out, then kind of go for it. See what happens. Because is Quinshon Judkins even going to go out to 7 with this coming out? I think we believe he will, but in this draft, will he?
If you
We
trade
don't
back to
know
the
that.
7, then I would suggest yes to take him, but you might have more leverage to do a trade back anyway. So we can
Yeah,
have a look
because
at
if he
that. But
continues to fall, then you keep going back, right?
so the 102, I guess we don't know who has any of these picks now that I'm thinking about this. Because if his is wrong, we don't really know. I don't know.
I
Let's
think we
just
just go.
don't
I say we
stop
just go based off.
believing. Is the 102? Let's say that's
Yeah.
the 103 then. So like if you can get the 103 and the 108, and then you can send like the 102 and what's a veteran we can move off of this team, like a Tyreek Hill. You send the 102 and Tyreek Hill.
Yeah.
I would love to do something like that. Of course, the easy answer is the 103 and a future first, and then you send the 102 and Tyreek Hill if they want to do that instead, or whatever that might look like. The 104. Let's see who has the 104, and again, we're kind of just going off the information we have.
104 is Payne 02, Team 7.
He has a 107 as
104,
well.
104, 107. That's interesting.
107 in the future first, I would do. 104 and 107. Yeah, I mean, you'd have to send Tyreek Hill for sure in that trade. I don't know if that's even enough, but it's a baseline depending on what sort of demand there is for Hampton in your league or whoever people want at the 102. At the 105, who has that? Well, the 106 is Snow. So if you could do like 106 Laporta. So you'd have to go like 106 plus Sam Laporta. And then you could send back 102 in like Kelsey or something.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm not sure if it's possible. I would like 106 and 106 Ricky and send Tyreek. That's probably not possible, actually.
Well, there's some ideas there. If you want to trade back, I mean, ultimately, I think we both be team trade back. But if you're going to go down to the 107, you should probably ask for more right now, considering people are concerned about Judkins. But I don't really know
I'm interested to know who's going to go there now. Like, probably just Mbuka, if he is not. If people are pushing.
Yeah, I mean, maybe you can get Jalen Waddle on top of this. I don't know.
We can actually go to KTC and look at rookie rankings, can't we?
Yeah.
Let's see what rookie rankings look like on KTC.
But anyway, those are some ideas if you did want to trade down. I don't know that you're going to be able to. What I would want to do is sell high on Saquon.
Yeah. By
Sell
the
high
way,
on Saquon.
KTC, they have Quinshon at the 112.
Okay.
Just FYI.
Yeah, interesting. Okay, so I would sell high on Saquon. I would probably try to sell Hill and Diggs in season as well as Kelsey. And these are trades that you make in season.
Yeah.
Saquon, I think you can sell him now. His value is kind of where it is. I don't think it's going to, yeah, you can make the argument wait till in season, but I also think, he's a hot enough name where you can just sell him now if you wanted to. What's a team that needs running back but is a contender? How about the guy who has Joe Mixon and Stevenson? Well, he's about to add Ginty, so that won't really work. Let's see. The guy who has a 102, we don't actually know what pick he has, but what if you can get like the 103 and the 108 for Saquon? Would you do that?
Yeah.
103 and 108, so that ends up being like
108.
Travis Hunter and RJ Harvey or something, some equivalent of that. Maybe in a 10-man you can ask for more.
Maybe you can Yeah, I was gonna say maybe in a 10-man you can squeeze because
Maybe
this is
you
a smaller league. You should get something back, I think.
maybe you add a Bo Nix and you end up sending like a Brock Purdy or something instead. I don't know if that's not gonna make a huge difference. Maybe you ask for a future first, all right, and you send Saquon and Tyreek or something. I don't know how far you can stretch it. Saquon's more valuable in a 10-team league like yours than he would be in a 12-team like ours. But that could work. Let's see who else needs a running back. The Chunga's Chop.
The Chunga's Chop.
Love to do like a JSN and a first. I don't know if you can get that much, to be honest. JSN plus a first. If you send Saquon in a second, something like that. If that's not doable, could you get a Dunze in a first?
Maybe.
These are the type of trades. Ideally in 2027, these first round picks, but you don't have to be. The 104 and the 107. If you can do something like that, 104 plus the 107, that'd be great. But yeah, those are some ideas there. Tyreek Hill in season, I'd say like multiple seconds, ideally. I would say Stephon Diggs like an early to mid second. Of course, if these guys in Travis any second in any year would be great. But of course, if these guys are like outperforming, you could, maybe there's some team that gives you a first for one of the veterans, but less likely than likely. But yeah, that's my game plan. I would be pretty committed to the rebuild, but I can understand where Badaki is, where maybe you want to see where you are to start the season.
And I'll just say this, like, let's just say you can't get any of these trades done and you just draft Travion, or if you do have the 102, you draft Amarion Hampton or Travis Hunter. You put him in that flex spot that is still open and you wait to see what happens, to where you can kind of give yourself the opportunity. And if Tyreek Hill is back to his form, you sell him for multiple seconds or you for a first. If Stephon Diggs is the guy and these guys are producing, that means you're winning. But if they're not, specifically, let's just say they are producing, but you're not winning, still start to sell these guys, because that's exactly what you want to do. So then you go with Zach's thought process here, because I think you just need a piece. You have the piece, you don't have the depth. So if Saquon goes down, you're effed.
Yeah.
if
Problem is,
Amon-Ra goes down,
even if you hit on the 103, you're starting Travis Kelce. Jonathan Brooks is
so
your
it's not
RB3.
it's not ideal, but at least if you start 5-2 and he's like, oh shit, I'm just gonna ride with my team here until it starts to fall to shit, then go for it. But then obviously the consequences of that as well.
Well, we appreciate you, Obi-Wan. Go give him let him know how he's going to get his playbook, by the way.
You should be receiving your playbook here within 24 to 48 hours on the Flock Fantasy Message System. That's where you were sending all those messages earlier about how to, kind of upgrade, et cetera, customized to your team with everything that we drew up here for you today. So we appreciate you, man. Thank you so much.
Yes, appreciate you big time, my friend. All right, let's get to T-Mac here and then last passport. And again, if you guys want your team playbook, would love to have you sign up, join the community, or even if you're already a part of the community and you still want a playbook, you can buy one through the Flock site, through the a la carte store. But would love to have you guys join the community if you want a team playbook, which this is what's sent after we do your review, right? We do your review and then you get this beautiful graphic to execute our game plan. You can do that by becoming a promo code LAND annual Mother Flocker member on the Flock site. You'll get a voucher that you can use through the Flock store. Just choose Zach and Badaki and just move that slider up to live if you want it to be shown on the stream. Link is in the pinned comment. Let's get to T-Mac here. I think the team name is the Culture Victory. We don't have much information though for this one.
Yeah, so the Culture Victory here. Yeah, not much context. That's totally okay. It's a 2-quarterback, 12-team start 10. So same thing as we just saw there from the last team. That's a middle ground here for us.
Okay, it's the same exact format.
Yeah. The Culture Victory, which you are currently ranked 11 out of 12, which is not ideal, but that's okay. Let's see what we are working with here.
Yep.
And let's have a look at this.
Not much context.
team
We're kind of
here.
going blind a little bit, but we'll do our best.
Going in blind here. Okay. Let me just switch my setup 2 seconds. Okay, here we go. Your team: Brock Purdy, Justin Fields, Joe Milton. So, okay, quarterback room. Not in love with your QB2 and Justin Fields. I'm a little bit nervous about if he doesn't produce what that's going to look like. At the running back position, looks like you did your rookie draft already. Amarion Hampton, Kenneth Walker, Zach Charbonnet, Bashul Tootin. So you kind of locked up that Seahawks backfield, which is good. You can start up to 5 wide receivers, and you're starting 5 with Tet, Addison, Golden, Pickens, Mooney. Got Wando Robinson there on the bench with Amari Cooper if he joins the team. Jonnu Smith, who is now the Steeler, which is unlucky. And you don't have your first in 2026.
He doesn't have his first in 26. Okay.
He has a first, not his first in 2026.
Not ideal.
Not ideal here. When it comes down to untouchables, there's not really an untouchable on this team. Unfortunately. So we're not going to put anything there. When it comes down to holds, there are a bunch of holds. Names like Zach Charbonnet, we would hold. Who else? Let's have a look at the wide receiver position. I guess you can definitely hold names like the Matthew Goldens. I guess the rookie guys you can then hold, right? So the Marion Hamptons, the Matthew Goldens, the Tets you can hold there. And then there's a bunch of drops. Yeah, Joe Milton is a good hold. Drops for me will be like the Joshua Palmers, the Kenny Pickett's of the world that you can drop to kind of free up that time. Amari Cooper, I think you could drop as well. I'm not a big believer in Amari Cooper. I don't think he's going to make an impact to a team personally. But yeah, those are all the drops there.
Yeah. Overall team grade, man, I got to be honest. I'm really upset that you don't have your own first because this team is in no position to compete. We really are in no position to compete compared to the rest of this team. Or rest of this league. Like, what are you going to do when you go up against El Jefe and the boys? The shrinkage. I mean, these teams are, just far superior. I don't even know if we make the playoffs. So, I'm not trying to be Debbie Downer, but man, we really could have used our first round pick here. I don't know what we lost it for. Who has it? Probably one of the teams at the top who took advantage of you in a trade. Would not be surprised at all. What's our name again?
The Culture Victory.
So it's one of the top 2 teams. It is the top team. No, it's not. Where is that pick? How do I keep missing it? Where are you sure they don't have their own first, Badaki?
I'm looking at it. It says. Hold on.
Okay, yeah. So, Team 6 has it. Ah, man, this team is not good. Yeah, overall team grade. Got to be honest. That's why you come here for honesty. C plus. That feels generous.
Just give him a C.
C, yeah, C flat. Draft capital, sure, you have a first next year. You don't have your own first, and your team's not going to be good. You don't have your own first in 27. Brother, where are your picks at? Man, where did your picks go, man? Oh, my gosh. So, Team 6 has both of his future picks. Whatever they did to grab those 2 picks, they were sneaky about it and very smart. Because your team is not good, man. I'm sorry. I'm sorry if this is the first time you're hearing this. I mean, who are you going to start week 1, by the way? Okay, so you start Purdy and Fields, right? We know that. Hampton, you're going to have to start with Walker. But we don't know when Hampton is reliable yet. You'll start T-Mac. Addison will be suspended. He'll be back. Golden, can you start Golden straight away? So I guess Pickens. And then what? We're starting Jonnu Smith. Yeah, and I have to say it like that because he's in Pittsburgh now. You now have to start 3 more names. We'll say Darnell Mooney. I have no idea. I guess we're throwing in Golden as 9 in week 1 and Wan'Dale Robinson. And the opportunity for you to improve this team is so thin.
So thin.
I'm distraught. I am distraught.
Yeah, look, you're not in the best position here. Full transparency. Ideally, what we would want to do is have this we want to strip this down. We want to sell all these players, or
you
we
had
want
all
to
your
keep our
picks,
first.
It'd be a full rebuild, no doubt.
It will be a full rebuild. We sell Jonnu Smith High to somebody. We'll sell the Darnell Moonies or the George Pickens or whatever. Send the first for Kenneth Walker. That's probably what we would have done here. In reality, you're kind of stuck. From my perspective, I think you are stuck. You can't make a move. We don't want to use the capital that we have.
You have to,
because, we're gonna have to try and make this team better.
The window's open. You have to use the capital you have. You have no, like, your picks are going to be held at ransom now because the guy probably knows your team isn't very good. And I'm sorry, I'm not trying to be disrespectful. I'm trying to be honest and real with you. 11th is an accurate rating of where you rank amongst the rest of your league. Like, the site is not being unbiased here, you know. But you have got to use those picks to build out the rest of this team to have any chance to make the playoffs, or you're going to give up a top 3 pick next year and in 27. You know, you might give up Arch Manning and Jeremiah Smith in back-to-back years after making a move, you know, after not having your picks. So you've got to go all in at this point. No, like, I don't know what else he does.
You're gonna have to. I don't know what else either.
All right.
To be honest,
Windows open is where we're going. I like your draft. I gave you a B+. You ended up with Hampton and Golden. I like both of those guys a lot, but I am really curious if you made some silly trade to move up to get Hampton or something, and that's how you lost your first. I don't know, because, like, where else did the picks go? Truly, like, how did you lose your first round picks? What other player would have, like? Where would the transaction be? I don't know the answer to that. So, you have a 26 first. I think you're going to need to sell that. You have some 26 seconds. Ideally, we sell that to build out the rest of our team. So with that first, you ideally need to find a team that has an excess at tight end and a running back that you can grab. So let's see if there's any teams that fit that bill. Okay, so this guy has Hawkinson. It's the guy who has your picks already. Yeah, it's not going to work, though, because, like, you're not going to send a first for Hawkinson. What if you send a second? Try to get Hawkinson for a second, maybe. I doubt that's going to work, but, you know, worth sending. Maybe you can send a second. Like, think about it. This guy's going to have zero reason to make your team better. So he's not going to be a good trade target. But can we get, like, Tucker Kraft and Chase Brown, Badaki, for example? Send our 26 first away. Chase Brown and Tucker Kraft. You and I would not want to do a deal like this typically, but you've put yourself in a situation where you really can't not go out there and try to do a deal like this. No, that's how I feel.
Yeah, I hear you.
And then maybe you could find a way to, like, throw, like, Olave into this deal if you do, like, a swap. So you also add Chris Olave, and then you can send back what, like, Jordan Addison. I mean, can you go instead of Olave? Can you can't get a Marvin. Yeah. Maybe Matthew Golden. Maybe you send Matthew Golden away. I don't know. Yeah. All right. Let's keep going here. Sam Laporta, Tyler Warren, Dalton Kincaid, and Mark Andrews. Can you grab Mark Andrews and Kyron Williams? Right? We don't want to buy these Kyron Williams, but you're in a situation where you kind of need to. Kyron Williams and Mark Andrews. At least you have a startable lineup now. Maybe you send a 26 and a third or something.
Yeah.
George Kittle, Britton Strange. This is a team that's probably going to be eligible for a CMC as well. No? I don't know.
Yeah, I'm seeing you get CMC plus. Maybe go that route. You can do the lower tiers. Do a CMC plus a big wide receiver.
Well, the issue is the guy who has CMC just doesn't have anything else appealing on his roster. Can get Jonathan Taylor and send a... Jonathan Taylor and Jake Ferguson send a 26 first and second.
Yeah,
you can't get Taylor for a first straight up, so you're going to have to send a second. You might as well get something back on top. Or can you do that for Devontae Adams, more ideally? Instead of Jake Ferguson, Devontae Adams, and maybe you have to send a third or something on top. Yeah, I'm not trying to be Debbie Downer, but you've put yourself in a really tough spot, I think.
Yeah, it's not ideal. It's a tough spot. Look,
Devontae Adams is a great ad here. The Chris Godwins, you might have to even grab like a Sutton if he's available. Can you, we talked Mark Andrews, Evan Ingram is affordable maybe.
Ingram, you can use a third, get like a Brenton Strange potentially.
Yep.
Is there anyone in the waiver wires? No, not a tight end. Luke Musgrave, Orton Gaston, you can pick up maybe.
Orton Gaston's a pickup you should definitely get. That's a good point. Yeah. And he should be free for you. Deontay Thornton Jr. is a pickup you should make as well. But you've kind of got no option outside of trying to go all in. And ideally, you don't overpay for some of these names. But let's just say hypothetically, you got the Taylor Adams deal done, which is great. And then, you added a Sutton and an Ingram. Okay. So you lost the majority of your draft capital now, but you have Jonathan Taylor, Adams, Sutton, Ingram. That just makes this team far more complete and ready to compete right now. Which you really need to be. We haven't even addressed quarterback 3. But I think we can only really do a couple things at a time here.
Yeah, not much you can do there. Hope for the best.
Maybe send a second for Tua.
Actually... Gosh.
Send a second for Tua. Yeah, a third for Daniel Jones. You're not in the best spot, my friend, but I hope that's helpful. And I would just really encourage you in future teams, maybe this league is a lesson. Maybe you went all out for Marion Hampton. I don't know how you lost your picks. I really don't know, looking at your roster. You can't strap yourself into a corner like this, man. Gotta be aware of that next time. And we're all getting better at Dynasty every year, so don't be too hard on yourself. But that is an honest review, as honest as it can be.
We appreciate you, man. Hopefully, when you watch this, you're not as down as we are.
Well, I just don't want him to be offended, but I want to be helpful as well, and that's the most helpful way we can be helpful. So
yeah, we appreciate you. You should be receiving your playbook here within 24 to 48 hours on the Flock Fantasy Master System, customized with everything that we drew up here for you today, man. Thank you so much for the support.
All right, we've got one more here from Last Passport. We still have spots if anybody else wants to submit a team playbook, team review for tonight. Y'all know how to do that by now. Let us know if you have any questions, but still spots. But this is the last one we'll do tonight. So let's go ahead and have a look.
Last Passport, appreciate you. Thank you for your support. We'll have a look at this team here. All right. 2 quarterback, 12 teams, start 9. So just a little bit different. That's our meat and potatoes there. I'll put that in the chat. That's how that's looking for you guys.
Yep.
0.5 tight end premium. And he says, not sure where to go with this team. It seems like any trades to compete will not be enough, but there's a lot of trades away in order to rebuild, and the vets are discounted for their age. Any idea of choosing a direction will be great. Thanks in advance. And your team name is
Yeah, what is his actual team name? Because it's not saying on the front
C.
end.
C. Brunton 20. Brennan 20, I think that's how you say it. And he's
C
currently
Brain
ranked
20?
8th.
Ranked 8th,
Yeah,
okay.
currently 8th out of 12.
C
Breen
Brain
20. C Breezy. Okay. And let's have a look at this team here.
Yep.
Ranked 8th.
Good news.
All right,
Have
at the
all their future picks just before we get started. That's the good news here. But let's keep going.
At the quarterback position, Lamar Jackson, and really no one else to speak of there. So that's a problem in the Superflex League. At the running back position, Chase Brown downtown, James Cook, Caleb Johnson, Joe Mixon, Woody Marks, and the list goes on there as well. Decent running back room. At the wide receiver position, you can start with the 4 wide receivers, and here's your starting 4. Zay Flowers, Devontae Adams, Mike Evans, Stephon Diggs, and really no one else to speak of. I guess outside of Roman Wilson, with George Kittle and Tucker Kraft being your tight end. So you have your first and an additional first in 2026 and a second in 2026 as well here. Going straight into some admin stuff. Look, obviously Lamar Jackson is your only hold and untouchable. We might potentially be moving him or maybe not. We've got to wait and see what we'll think about it, but he's definitely a untouchable at the moment. A hold for us would be, let's see, definitely Roman Wilson is a hold. We'll like to wait and see what's going to happen there in Pittsburgh with Aaron Rodgers.
Woody Marks,
Woody Marks. Yeah, Woody Marks. Those are probably the only ones that I personally see.
Yeah. Tucker Kraft maybe in a tad
Tucker
premium.
Kraft. And then drops, you can drop names like Rasheen Ali, Deuce Vaughn, Will Shipley, Devin Singletary. I'm okay to drop names like Mason Rudolph, DeAndre Hopkins if you want to, Amari Cooper. So a lot of drops here. Whichever one you want to pick, you can. Just to have a look at the waiver wire really quickly. Let's see. Don't really see anyone of interest, at least in my perspective.
Donta Thornton, maybe.
Why? I don't think I've ever asked you why you're so big on him as a pickup.
Donta Thornton, because he's already running with the ones in camp.
Okay.
And he's likely to start 3 wide receiver sets.
Okay, good to know.
So yeah, he's definitely worth a roster spot in all leagues just based off that. But big body, run fast.
Big body
and involvement in the first team straight away. That's kind of really the reason. But yeah, no, I definitely think he's worth a spot. Could just be all talk, but I'd rather it be all talk on my roster and waste a spot than not pick him up and, he ends up being something. It's a weird team, honestly. I'll be honest with you. It's a very, very weird team. Your quarterback 2 is disgusting. Your wide receiver 1 being Zay Flowers, disgusting. Love Devontae Adams. Don't want him to be my wide receiver 2. You know what I mean? Those 3 things alone really make me question if I want to compete this year. If you do want to compete this year, he mentioned veterans are very cheap. So you're going to have to go out and buy a veteran quarterback on the low. But even then, I don't know that I want to send away my first. The first that you have is from Addison Wonderland.
Yeah, ranked
their team might be
here.
Good.
He has Tua, funny enough. Tua.
Yeah, I mean, maybe you. What do you want to do with this team? It's either you go cheap veterans and you're not going to get a better wide receiver one than Zay Flowers unless you send your first round pick, and that is a problem. It is a problem when Zay Flowers is your wide receiver. I think that's the thing.
I
kind of lean towards a rebuild here.
For me, I was punting it for the year.
Oh yeah, punt's fine then.
You have 2 firsts in 2026. give you first and 27. Really, if he had a quarterback, put any quarterback on this team, you're just not excited about the wide receiver room.
No. Yeah, there's too many holes to fill, and then, the ship is going to start to sink if we keep trying to fill every hole.
If I can punt and then like sell Zay Flowers for the first, or and then
in an ideal world, you are. I think it's probably a tear down from Lamar situation because he's not going to be. He's not going to be more expensive than he is today next year. I mean, he had an MVP caliber season. He threw 40 touchdowns. With age, he's not going to be more expensive. I think you probably look to tear down from Lamar. In season, you probably look to sell the Chase Browns, the Joe Mixons, the Adams, the Evans, the Diggs, the Flowers if you can, the Kittles if you can. And I think you look more towards the future with a team like this. Start 9, so I mean, like, we could figure it out, but it's not like you don't have like a Gibbs, Puka at the top carrying your starting lineup anyway. Your starting 9 isn't going to be very strong compared to the rest of the group anyway. Overall team grade in Superflex, this is rough at quarterback too. I got to be honest, C+ because of the picks.
Okay.
You have your own picks. That's the great difference between your team and the previous team we reviewed. You have all your picks, so you're gonna be bad, but you're gonna be benefiting from being bad, right? So yeah, I would say A- on the pick front, and decent draft. I mean, the only rookies I can really see, correct me if I'm wrong, Caleb Johnson, Woody Marks. We'll see another rookie. Devin Neal's there. Okay. I gave you a C+. It's I like Caleb Johnson. Don't think the Caleb Johnson I'm saying is a C+. Just the overall class intake is not that impressive outside of Caleb Johnson. So yeah, we can look at a Lamar Jackson tear down and what that might look like for you. I think that could really set you up for the future. And then I would say in season trades, right? We're looking at like Chase Brown. We're looking at.
You said Chase Brown. You said Joe Mixon. You've also said Devontae Adams.
Joe Mixon, Devontae Adams, even though I love him. Mike Evans. He has Mike Evans, right? Yeah. Stephon Diggs. George Kittle. We're kind of clearing house here a little bit. Let's start with the Lamar Jackson tear down idea. Okay. Tyler says it feels like tonight is the night to get our team review from Zach. Am I just being like way too blunt? Maybe I am.
You like to sugarcoat a little bit. Nah, jokes. I'm fucking with you. Family friendly.
All right. Let's. He says you're being real. I'm trying to be real. All right. Let's have a look at some tear down options. So Lamar to Caleb. Can we go Lamar to Caleb plus a Dunze, burden? Something like that. That's a lot of Bears to take on. But what do you think about something like that?
That is a lot of Bears to take on.
Maybe you send back Stephon Diggs.
Yeah, I'm okay with that.
Let's keep looking here. I don't want to go to a Baker and a rebuild, but like Purdy's fine. Purdy's a fine idea. Yeah, I'm not in love with this team though. It'd have to be like Purdy. What do you think? Like Purdy, a first, Higgins or something? Brock Purdy, 27 first plus Jaden Higgins. Is that enough?
Sure. It doesn't feel like enough. I like the construction. I think you should be able to get more than that.
Okay, well, Tyler Shuck, you want to add on? I mean, you can't get Bucky Kyrie. You can't include Neighbors Chase into the deal is the problem.
No, I know. I just feel like Higgins is just not that it's not too much, but maybe Shuck, yeah.
If you can't do that, then can you ask for 2 future firsts including their 28 first. I don't know. I mean, so you remove Higgins in that scenario. You ask for the 27 first and their 28 first. I don't know.
Yeah.
Just trying to create as many ideas as we can with players that we're okay to build around. Bo Nix would be great.
Yeah.
Like Nick's Pearsall first.
Yeah, exactly where I was gonna go. Nick Pearsall first. Throw Stephon Diggs in there.
Yeah, you can
Get
throw
Trey
Diggs
Benson.
back that way. Well, what if we tried to get Tyler Warren? I mean, it's a tight end premium. You can throw a Diggs their way or something. They have tight ends to make this work.
Yeah, they do. They do have tight ends. So I'm okay with that as well.
Or like a Mixon. Would you throw like Mixon into this deal because they need running backs? Lamar and Mixon for Nick's Pearsall Warren.
Yeah, that feels good.
Maybe you can net a second back or something. Maybe you can do a pick swap where you get a second instead of third. I don't know. It's not far off though. Let's keep looking here. Or even like,
the next one.
would you do something more simple, like if they want to keep all their players, like Knicks and 2 firsts or something?
Yeah, I'll be okay with that. Getting more capital.
You
Think
can
you'll
even
have,
send
like,
Diggs
4.
in that or Mixon or something, right?
Yeah, I'm okay with that as well.
JJ McCarthy, we would do this for. So McCarthy, T-Mac in a first. In 27.
Yep.
Not 26 there. Yeah. I don't mind like the idea of like a Ward Smith in a first as well, but I'm not going to put that one down. I think those are your main options there. I think those all set you up in a really great way. For Chase Brown, in an ideal world, you send for like a mid 27 first in season. I would say any first in any year. For Joe Mixon, that sounds crazy, but last year you were getting a first. If he's the same player, it's a possibility, but otherwise you take multiple seconds. I spelled multiple wrong there. Devontae Adams, same thing probably as Joe Mixon, but most likely you're going to get multiple seconds, not a first for him. Mike Evans, I would say an early to mid second. Diggs, I would say any second in any year. George Kittle, I would say in a tight end premium, you should be able to net a first. I wouldn't sell him for less than a first. And then of course, like you see these values, at the time, what young players valued at that same, like for example, George Kittle, is Colson Loveland valued at the same at mid-season? Okay, then you turn Kittle into Loveland to a contender if Loveland's starting off slow. So like that's the example there. But yeah, I hope that's helpful. And I'm sorry if I was too blunt on the stream.
Zach was on the road tonight. Nah, Jugs, we appreciate you. Thank you so much, Last Passport. Hopefully that helps, man. Genuinely. We appreciate you. You should be receiving your playbook here within 24 to 48 hours in the Flock Fantasy message system with customized everything that we drew up here for you today, man. But huge love.
Yes, we appreciate you big time. Thank you to everybody who has been here on the stream. The good news is our queue is ready to go. So the next person who submits a team playbook, you will be first in our queue. We appreciate y'all big time for being here with us. Go check out the Fantasyland Football Redraft channel. We did just drop a video there today. It's doing well, which is cool to see. And we'll be live on that channel tomorrow as well. So if you want to be live with us tomorrow, jump on that channel.
Come hang.
And I think that's it.
Love.
All right. Later, guys.